pass me the air dry cream and some sunblock and an SPF lip gloss. Let's fucking go. It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margie McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend and co-host.
Hello, I'm Ramona Ramirez Higgins. Hi, Margie. It's good to see you. Hi.
Good to see you, too.
Thank you.
Oh, my God, and it was so great to see Greece.
Yeah, dude.
I want to go so bad. Have you ever
Same.
been?
I have never been to Greece, no. The closest I've been to Santorini is Cafe Santorini in Pasadena.
Same.
That lovely festive restaurant on the upper level in like Old Town and the bricks. It's so gorgeous and the food is so good. But that's the closest I've been.
It's a far cry from the cliffside sunset that these ladies got to take a look at. And like the breeze, everything about it, maybe it was just photographed beautifully and it was that villa was gorgeous and they all looked great. It just looked like an amazing vacation. And it made me hate Lisa Barlow all the more. I'm like, get out of your room and go experience that place.
Same. Yeah. I don't have to be her. So thank fucking God. Thank fucking God I don't have to be her.
Yeah.
I don't care. She can have all the Prada slides in the world. She can have glam in Santorini, which is a fucking island. Like, take a day. Like, don't you want the day off? I love doing makeup when it's on my terms. I also very much appreciate the fact that I don't feel the need to put it on before I leave the house. And I don't want to get into the psychology of Lisa Barlow. And I'm sure I would have compassion for people that also feel similar to her, but whose behavior isn't repugnant. Like, I also understand feeling like how do I explain it? I know that there are exceptions to everything. And just because someone likes leaving the house with a full beat doesn't necessarily mean they're insecure. And also, every insecure person doesn't need to be judged the way I judge Lisa Barlow. First of all, I shouldn't even be judging Lisa Barlow to begin with. Like, that's not fucking cool. We do it on this podcast. I do it. I'm fucking human, dude. I'm human and she's annoying.
And she's on the TV. You know what I mean?
And
like she's
on
sort
the
of
TV.
putting herself out there to
You're
receive
You're right.
some
You're
eyes
right.
and
it's a two-way
thoughts.
street.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and
this is
it's
reciprocal.
also, I did think, I was like, what is driving this? And, you know, there's stuff going on in her personal life that's not great. So I'm sure I feel that way a lot of times. If my personal life is falling apart, sometimes I'll make an extra effort to look okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people to see that I'm cracking or already broken, you know? And I feel like all that extra time and glam in Greece and I don't know. It just seemed, it seems like something else is going on. But because she's so dishonest or out of touch with what's going on with herself, she just played it off like everyone else is an asshole for caring. And it's like, dude, you're in Greece for like a limited number of days and they're only mad because they wanted you there. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice reason to be upset.
Yeah. Give yourself a break, dude. Like, I love when I go to Hawaii that for some reason the waves in my hair are perfect and my skin glows without no shit on it to make it glow except for just the air and the salt and the vibes, you know? Like, give yourself a break. And it's not like the other ones weren't also in full faces of makeup. I don't know if the other ones took glam. Like, did Meredith do her own makeup? I can't imagine Meredith doing shit by herself.
Well, maybe. But Whitney said, she's like, I did my makeup in 10 minutes and I used Heather's makeup. And
4 minutes.
4 minutes. And Lisa
Yeah.
showed her whole ass when she was getting her glam done. And Angie came out to greet her and she's like, your makeup looks amazing. And she's like, I don't have any makeup on. Like, I just woke up. What are you talking about? And to me, that's just an indication of like how on like high alert Lisa is of like, what does everyone look like? Do they look okay? You know, it's just weird. It's sad.
Yeah, it is.
What a
It
loss
is really
for
sad.
her.
It is a loss. It is a loss. And dude. See, I'm speechless. I have no fucking words. I can't relate to this bitch.
I just wanted to be in Santorini so bad that I was
Yeah.
resentful of her not being in Santorini the whole time. Like, please don't talk about lashes on American soil. Please talk about like cliff sides and food and volcanic rock beaches and stuff that we don't get to see a whole bunch of in day-to-day life. Certainly not in Utah. Come on.
Trying to soften the absurdity of it all by saying that her makeup artist was from Athens. She's from Athens. I love her. Like, just because she's, well, maybe just because she's Greek, Angie's going to love the makeup artist anyway. But like, also, don't try. I see what you're doing, bitch. You're trying to make it seem like this is a cultural experience because she's from Athens. Dude, you're in Greece. Like, okay, there's a high chance the person making my latte in the morning is going to be from Athens or from Greece because I'm in Greece.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It tracks. Yeah, and she just kept trying to sell us on how everything that she was doing was her choice and it was great. Like, I'm glad I walked alone. I got to see Santorini alone and I got my 10,000 steps in. But then we see that moment when she's leaving after hours in glam and she's like, I'm probably going to be the most underdressed. Like, that to me was the real look at how she's doing. Like, she's completely pissed off and consumed with her appearance. I don't believe for a second she enjoyed one step of her walk. She's in such a weird, sad headspace, and I don't know what it's about, and she's certainly not going to confide in her friends. So I don't know what this Santorini trip means to her. It seems like an inconvenience, and I want to be like, can we swap out? You want to come here and live my life for that week, and I'll go be in Santorini because I guarantee I'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Promise.
I'll enjoy it without a fake eyelash on. I'd enjoy it with a fake eyelash on, but like,
Both,
I don't
sure.
imagine I'm going to Santorini for fake eyelash opportunities. I mean, maybe I'll know someone that gets married there or has a significant birthday there and it's going to be like black tie. I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to fucking lash it up. Maybe I'll even hire glam. But like walking around some shops on cobblestone streets, pass me the air dry cream and some sunblock and an SPF lip gloss. Let's fucking go.
Well, and again, it's like if there was time, it's fine. But like this was a time sensitive outing that Angie planned. It was to see the sunset from the cliffs. And it was so impactful that everyone was moved to tears. And I loved Angie for saying, like, I wanted everyone to have that experience. I wanted Lisa to have that experience. But Lisa didn't want to have that experience. So she got to grouchily march up the stairs grumbling about what if she's the most underdressed and then try to sell us on, I loved my walk. I loved my alone time. I loved getting my steps in. Let's go to dinner, right? It's like,
yeah,
okay.
So ridiculous. And
Fucking
I think that's
weirdo.
what, because of course I'm sitting here wondering, why am I so mad? Well, I've had a frustrating day. I'm sure I'm taking some of it out on that. Or is it just making me clear about shit right now, about what works and what doesn't fucking work? And when these housewives try to make me like think that they're pulling the wool over my eyes, that is my number one trigger with any of them. Heather Dubrow, Kyle, I see you. I see you. I see what you're doing. You don't get to do it. You don't get to do this to me. It's stupid. La. Like, fuck you. I see you. You're not that good. You're not.
I'm not that dumb. Please
Yes,
stop
thank you.
approaching
Yeah.
me like I'm some doofus, who just like rolled off a turnip truck. And you just don't have to waste your energy on convincing me that 10,000 steps all by yourself you guys missed out. You missed
She's
out.
so full of shit, man. She left and it was dark. We saw the inside of the fucking house. There were no lights on and there was not enough light. I remember she was walking up those stairs and I was like, she needs a hall light on. Those stairs are dark. That's because the sun set, bitch.
And
What?
I was with Angie
What are
when
you doing?
she was 3 hours late to show up in sunglasses.
What
So
the fuck?
all of those fake lashes and all of the makeup work is hidden behind glasses and also it's dark. Like what is going on?
I don't know.
She's
I
just
don't
putting
know.
her armor on because she cannot be in her own skin, clearly.
I'm just here to tell her that the armor doesn't work. It just doesn't. We're
We
seeing
can
it in real
all
time.
see it. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And her
As
saying that she
No,
what?
go ahead. No, I was going to say, as I record this in my flannel pajamas.
I mean, yes, and I'm like greasy
And no
from
bra.
a full day out on an 85-degree December day
Oh
in
my
Los
God.
Angeles, whatever.
Oh my God.
But it doesn't matter. If I showed up with a full beat, I still would have had a long day in 85-degree heat, and I will still, I don't know. There's like an energy behind people that makeup doesn't cover. Like makeup is a pretty painting, but what you're emitting is deeper than that, and we all feel it. And Lisa, I'm not buying anything you're selling in Santorini. That's it.
Not a goddamn thing, dude. Not one thing. I am
No.
not buying jack shit.
No, she makes me
Anyway.
sad.
So, this is The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 13, I believe. Greek for the week. So we're already halfway through the season if it's like, what, going to cap off at like 20, 21, 22? This week's episode opens up at Angie's house. We are now post-tea party, pre-Greece trip. Angie has planned a trip to Greece to celebrate her pending Greek citizenship. She has Heather and Mary over for some Greek lessons from her dad and I believe her aunt. That was her aunt, correct?
Aunt Rita. Yeah.
Aunt Rita. Okay.
And Louis, her dad, who are so darling and adorable. And it just shows the different approaches to this trip as we check in with everybody along the way. So Heather and Mary are there to get like Greek lessons from this family of like proud, authentic Greek people. They want to learn the language and have some questions. And then we catch up with Meredith and Lisa, who are like, should I bring a casual white blazer?
Oh
and
my
Lisa
God.
staged among her bags of Gucci shit and just listing all the labels she's going to bring.
Insanity.
And
Such
it's just
insanity.
sad. It was so vacant. I loved Aunt Rita and Louis and Angie. I love their excitement for the trip and their pride in their heritage. And I love when Heather asked if there's a word for snooze, snooze fest, referring to when Mary called Meredith a snooze. And Aunt Rita just says Greeks aren't boring. So there's no translation.
There's no
for that
word,
word.
right?
And I was
That
like,
was
I
amazing.
love it.
Yeah, seriously. So en route and arriving in Greece, we have the prerequisite airport arrival, sitting on the plane, getting settled in first class, all of the typical housewives going away on a trip, accoutrement. Lisa has a confessional where she says being friends with Angie is like going to Greece every day and I hope after this trip I never have to hear about Greece again. I'm Greeked out. What a fucking asshole. What
She's
a fucking asshole.
Terrible person.
She's a nightmare. She's a nightmare asshole.
She's an ingrate and a monster. And it was right then when I was like, what you think is like snarky haha is actually, it's so ugly.
It's
Like that's
butt
the
ugly.
only, yeah, it just butt ugly. And that's how she started this episode. And it somehow continued. She just got worse and darker and more, she's just a villain. She's a whole
With a
villain.
smug smirk look on her face. If my child said that, I would be real disappointed. And if her children said that, I wonder how she would feel if her children, well, obviously they're going to hear her say that. That's so gross. Like, who's going to be out there thinking like, oh my God, totally, I'm Greeked out too, batch.
After
What?
a trip to Santorini in a villa with all these personalized excursions, like, oh, I feel so sorry for you. It must be so hard to be friends with someone who's so generous and so excited to share her country and her heritage with you. You dick. You
Yeah, she's a dick.
unforgivable dick.
100. We learn later in the episode that this trip has taken them 2 hours, which is a long
2 days.
time. 2 days. Sorry. Jesus, 2 hours. We
If
wish.
only.
They land in Santorini, which is an island in Greece.
Which is unbelievably gorgeous. Like the first shot they show of that cliffside, like descending into the Aegean Sea as the sun's setting, I was immediately like, all of the B-roll of Greece took my breath away. I was just
Totally.
like, oh my God, each site is more gorgeous than the last. And each placement of the sun during the day makes it twinkle in a way more special than the hour before. Like it's a remarkable place.
Yeah. And it's by design. I mean, the flag represents the natural surroundings. It's the blue from the Aegean Sea and the bleached white walls and white clay. I don't know what the white is, but it's white and blue.
Yeah.
And it's stunning.
It's unbelievable.
All we need is a pop of fuchsia bougainvillea out there, and that's it. That's the postcard right there.
They're in the van from the airport to the villa, and they are discussing the size of the island of Santorini, which leads Heather, who is in this like really. So I have a very I can live in a very immature headspace and have a very immature sense of humor. And I really got a taste of my own medicine, perhaps. It must be what people feel like when I like giggle about, I don't know, when people say the word, like when people say Johnson and Johnson and I giggle because it's like dick and dick, haha, stupid. Because Heather is in this
Margie.
like unbelievably adolescent headspace. It's not cute. I'm not enjoying it. Like, and I really worried. I personalized it and was like, Jesus Christ, is this how you make people feel when you go, haha, when they say Johnson or, whatever. Anyways, Heather says she doesn't understand the size of islands or penises. And I was like, I don't understand the connection. Congratulations on saying penis. Great.
We get it, Heather. You're horny. You want to have sex. You want your kids to leave so you can have sex. It's all about sex. It's all about dicks. It's all about boning.
It's all about
we get
being
it.
17. She's like, my goals are smoke a Greek cigarette, get a tattoo, and
Okay.
come home with Greek guys' numbers in my phone. And I was like, are you fucking on a middle school trip overseas for a week? Like, what is this? Like, the excitement behind that was
This is her
insane.
Mormon Rumspringa, dude. Like she went from her parents' house to her marital house, and now she's about to be free from her adult responsibilities that she's had for the last 20, 25 years. And I think she's very excited about it.
Yeah. And I'm not the one to comment on immaturity, but all I kept thinking was like, it's so immature. Oops. You spot it, you got it. Oopsies.
Oh my God. Hilaire. While in the Sprinter van, we cut to Whitney's confessional where she says she's still frustrated by Bronwyn because Bronwyn betrayed her trust, telling Meredith everything that Whitney had told her. And trust is the key to friendship. Moving forward is the key to friendship, but Bronwyn can't keep secrets.
Can I just say that Whitney's, I mean, these women, Whitney says, I think the key to moving forward is not going backwards. And I was like,
Ooh, deep.
did you really just say that? It's like, I think the opposite of happy is sad. Like, that's news. I was like, great job, Whitney. Thanks for landing that plane for us. And then they wind up at a restaurant. It appears to be pretty late in the evening. And this lovely man named George greets them, offers them sangria, and the nicest invitation that I want to give everyone who ever comes to my home ever again. He invites them to start relaxing. And I was like, to start, he hands them a glass of fresh sangria and says, start relaxing. And I was like, oh my God, what a great invitation to start a vacation. It begins now. Relax. I loved it. I love George.
The restaurant was called Beef Bar.
Oh, that I didn't notice that. I wondered why there
Beef
were
bar.
Wagyu beef quesadillas. I was like, this isn't the Greek food I'm accustomed to, but okay.
Beef Bar.
Sure.
Yep.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. It's all Beef Bar in this nice, like, serifed typeface. Beef Bar.
On like a gorgeous cliffside, like it's like
Yeah.
Chili's being on like a Malibu cliff or something, but
It was
whatever.
hilarious.
I love George. George of Beef Bar.
It's such an odd episode. Like, it's so discombobulated. Angie is telling the group she's glad that she got, in regards to how long it took them to get there, 2 days. She's like, I'm glad that at least I had the bags under my eyes removed because they're traveling, suitcases, bags, yada. You're like, Ramona, we get it. Yes,
No,
we understand.
Of course, I'm fascinated by plastic surgery. So this had my whole attention. It was completely disjointed, but she's saying they'll take it easy tomorrow because they've been traveling for 2 days. And she's like, at least I got these bags under my eyes fixed. And she explains that she had the fat pads under her eyes surgically smoothed. And then she demonstrates how that happened by saying they used chopsticks to break up the fat and then they smooth it back into place, which that can't be what the procedure actually is. But I was fascinated by it.
Maybe they have a medical grade stainless steel type of make it an implement, maybe to
I'm
not use
sure
the word
it's
chopstick, but
more sophisticated than chopsticks.
yeah, I mean, there are bags. There are no products out there that will take away a genetic pad of fat in
That's
your
the
tear
buccal
trough.
fat, right? Like, isn't that, or is that something else? Oh, a bleph. Sorry, a bleph, a lower bleph and an upper bleph, right?
I feel like bleph might just refer to loose skin or hooded eye.
Oh,
So I don't know that a bleph automatically includes the removal of a fat pad. I think that they can be separate. I can see them definitely being done at the same time, because a bleph is just removing what the doctor considers to be excess skin. So like if you have bags under your eyes that present as like a genetic fat pad, nothing you can buy at a store can take that away. That's got to be surgically removed. Just like no product can tighten the eye area like permanently. Nothing like surgery can. So do either of those procedures cross my mind from time to time? Sure. Have I seen a bleph gone wrong and absolutely am scared straight?
if you have
Definitely.
not, everyone Googles Simon Cowell and Bradley Cooper and get
Y'all,
scared straight.
bleph on men can just go so horribly wrong.
But I feel like it's a crapshoot. Like, I don't even think it's the doctor's fault. I think it's just a gamble of like
That's the thing.
how it's gonna settle. And some people it looks exquisite, looks great,
Yeah.
and you can hardly tell. And then some people are Simon Cowell, where I literally scream. It's like a jump scare every time I see his face. Terrifying.
God bless. God bless. So Meredith says that she likes Botox, but not a big filler fan. And I was like, okay, I guess that can be true, because it does to me look like she's had injectables, whether or not those are traditional fillers or a biostimulator. I don't know.
I believe she's had facelifts.
She has
plural.
had facelifts.
So you don't need fillers if you're getting good deep plane work done. So congratulations.
Anyway, Heather obviously says that she's a big fan of all of it. Get it all day, every day, because that's her business.
Exactly.
But also she's right. Anyone should be able to do whatever the fuck they want to their face.
Yeah. I did appreciate Bronwyn for saying that her ocular fat pads will remain noticeable because she's not willing to have that surgery. And it's so funny because I assign this attribute to rich people of like, if you have the money, obviously you get everything that's available to you. And that took me by surprise. I was like, oh, I guess because there's still pain and recovery and uncertainty in outcome, even if you're rich.
I mean, I think there's always going to be a trade-off. I
Yeah.
think there's always going to be a trade-off. Like your face might look refreshed. I know when I have Botox and it's in that sweet spot between like a week to 2 weeks when it's brand spanking new and it's really had time to settle, I'm like, oh, there she is. She's had 8 hours of sleep and she's been drinking her water. Yeah. I think about surgery. I do. I think about it. I think about it
I already know who I
seriously.
want to do mine. And everyone's like, you don't want to look pulled. I'm like, you don't know me. I always say I want new problems. I want people to go like, ugh, Margie's too shiny. And I'll be like, yes, but I'm not wrinkly or jowly. So that's my choice. I choose stretched and shiny as opposed to wrinkly and jowly. New problems. Like you said, it's a trade-off. You don't ever get to be 20 again.
No, I don't get to be 20, but
stretch and pull and try things.
If for some reason I end up not looking like myself, that is going to freak me out. And that's what keeps me from like getting a consultation in earnest.
But that's why we have to find our way to Kristen Wiig's doctor.
My God, have to.
Person is an artist.
If anybody knows the name of Kristen Wiig's surgeon, I'm going to have to deep dive on Reddit for that one.
I wouldn't even trust Reddit. I would have to go directly to the source.
Oh, you should absolutely trust the plastic surgery and the skincare Reddits. I've learned more from Reddit. It's not just weirdos on there.
Yes, I'm sure that's true. I just feel like if I could hear it from the horse's mouth, that would confirm as opposed to,
For sure.
Because there's lots of great doctors out there, but I really want to know.
Oh,
not
same.
just what practice, but which person picked up the scalpel and did that glorious number on hers. Because she looks like herself, but the same as she did 15 years ago. Amazing.
Kristen looks like the best kind of yassified, like not even yassified. She just looks like she's been airbrushed. She's been in real fucking life.
Yeah.
And it is stunning. Her work is the bar. There is a surgeon's name in San Francisco that I've seen repeated
associated
a few
with
times. No, just in general with doing good work. Anyway, we'll see if I've
got my
make an
eye on
appointment with
Dr.
Carolyn
Giacono.
Chang.
Oh.
Yes, you have.
At some point. Anyways, in the meantime.
Oh my God.
Heather reveals that she bought a Cartier watch at the airport duty-free shop, and she clearly does this to get under Lisa's skin because we learn at the airport, Lisa and Angie got into it about who had a Cartier watch first. So Heather bought a Cartier watch for her and Whitney at the airport. And she just shrugs off the cost. Someone was like, how much did it cost? And she's like, $6,000. The way I would say like $20. I was like, $6,000. Okay. All right. That Wayfair sponsorship must have really come in strong, man.
The Wayfair sponsorship. Oh my
I don't
God.
know where you shrug off $6,000, but I
don't
can't
either,
wait
man.
to be there and find out. And Heather is right. She notes that Lisa only thinks something is special if Lisa wears it. And it seems to Lisa to be diminished in value if other people have it. So Lisa has to tell other people who have the same fine jewelry or car or whatever that they're copying her. And it's just the exhaustive mental gymnastics of keeping up with being the best, like being the Joneses that everyone's trying to keep up with. I just wouldn't survive Lisa's headspace.
Oh my God. Not
nuts.
for a hot minute. Same. Mary can't believe they're arguing about a Cartier watch.
She called it like a Cartier. She's like,
Cartier,
a Cartier watch?
yeah,
That's a grandma
yeah.
watch.
Ay. Lisa and Angie start getting into it again about the watches. And Angie says, listen, my Cartier is so old that there's a picture of it on Facebook. That's pretty fucking funny.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. And then they start fighting about who had what first. And it extends to watches, cars, clothes, Porsche Gate. I had 5. I have 4. I have a 2025. It's the first of that color in the state. Like, get a fucking life. Is this what's in your brain? Dude.
That was my favorite when Lisa goes, she gets into it with Angie, and then she's like, it's not a competition. And my Porsche is a 2025 in the first one of that color. And I was like, whoa, like, you just said it's not a competition and then tried to end the competition by winning it. You're a weirdo.
Insanity.
And then she does if anyone is looking for like the most flagrant example of you spot it, you got it, or projection, here it is. Lisa says, Angie is such a jealous, competitive person. It's unhealthy. She's going to take years off her life if she keeps this going. I don't even know what you drove, but you know what I was driving as you watch me on TV. And I was like, oh my God. First of all, you're jealous. You're competitive. And second of all, you're gross.
Unbelievable. I can't remember. All I remember is like the faceless steel gray to black SUVs that she's driven. I'm sure that they've been Land Rovers of some sort. But like, Lisa, I promise you, Lisa Barlow, I say this with, as the Youngs say, 10 toes, full chest. If I pass you on the street, the most I'm going to say is, I like her long middle parted hair. Guess what? I also have long middle parted hair. I also like a lot of her sunglasses. Nothing from the neck down is going to compel me about her one bit. My velvet Adidas slides, my pool slides, are way cooler than her Prada slides. And I got mine on Poshmark and eBay respectfully.
But again, it's like you say, when people, there's a difference between people wearing the clothes and the clothes wearing the people. Like,
Yeah.
if Jennifer Tilly had those Prada slides, it would be a totally different experience seeing them show up on TV. But because they're Lisa, it just looks like she's parading labels around to be like, I have money. And we're like, we get it. Moving on.
It's so boring. Dorit is so fucking boring.
Yeah.
So fucking boring. Erica manages to make everything look trashy. Like, it doesn't fucking matter, man. It just matters on who's wearing it. Who is wearing it?
So
and
true.
how are you wearing it? My costume jewelry is 10 times more as badass as Lisa's like $60,000 ring. She's so basic. She has no fucking idea how basic she is. Anyway.
And lots of people, myself included, can't tell the difference between costume jewelry and fine ass jewelry. So like, I don't know. Who cares?
Who cares?
I'm with Angie when she says, I don't care about things. And she says to Lisa, you and I are so different. You are so worried about what things look like on the outside. And then Lisa proceeds to spend the rest of the episode denying this while also acting it out and proving that point entirely.
Speaking of, the next morning, Lisa is getting glam as everybody else is getting ready, attending to their breakfasts. What are we going to do today? Yada, yada. Lisa's getting glam. She tells us, like a badge of honor, she brings glam everywhere. and doesn't want to be ugly for the day. I don't even know where to start with any of this. We've already talked about it. First of all, if you think you're ugly without makeup, that's a problem. That makes me sad for, I was about to say anybody who feels like that, but that's not true. I don't feel sad for certain people that have real questionable
It's
makeup
just
choices.
that like ugly radiates from the
Fill in the
inside
blank.
out,
Yes,
just like
that's what I'm
beauty
saying.
does. And so for
Yes.
her to say, why waste a day looking ugly? It's like, well, you've wasted this whole episode looking ugly because while you have a full face of makeup on, you're a monster
Yeah.
and you're treating everyone terribly and you're being disrespectful of your host and you're being gross about this incredibly decadent trip to an unbelievably gorgeous locale. So blow me.
Blow me.
That's it.
Blow me. So Angie is, when they're sitting down to breakfast as a group, she is selling how great Greece is and how great the breakfast is. And I get it. You have Greek pride. I want to say from my own experience, I invite you, Angie, to ease up. Your castmates are not going to love Greece or appreciate Greece any more than they are already capable of doing it. I understand where she's coming from. She has pride. She's proud, lest they not notice the details that are inherent to Greek culture and Greek food and Greece in general. But it's just going to like make them want to shut down and then react like Lisa says, which she's Greeked out. However, I now want Greek honey on some Greek yogurt.
But I'm also I see myself in Angie. Like when I take people I love somewhere I love, I'm a nightmare. Disneyland is a perfect example. Anytime I take people there, I'm like, but do you notice how clean it is? Did you hear the music piping? And it's like not too soft, but not too loud. And it's like I'm an asshole. And I'm like, and then you walk this direction, you can get there really fast and blah, blah, blah. Does anybody know about this shortcut? This used to be Tom Sawyer Island. Like I'm a fucking asshole, but it's because I love it so much. And I love the people I'm with so much that it's almost like I'm overstimulated with like love. And it becomes a lot of talking. And it's like if I could tell Disneyland about my friends, I'd be like, you've never seen these people here before, can you believe it? Like I would tell the inanimate objects if they would listen. So anyways, I felt for Angie the excitement and overwhelm of being in a place that you love with people that you love.
And I totally do this. And that's why I was telling her that, because I have done the same thing. Margie, I was actually going to use Disneyland as my example as well. That was
we
the
have to
same
go
thing.
together.
We really do.
Get it.
We really do. Like when I've taken Leo, especially the last time, because he's, as he gets older, he can understand more nuanced stuff and stuff like that. If you weren't raised going to Disneyland, I don't know if the magic like hits as much as it does if you were raised like going all the time. Maybe so. It also can suck if you were raised going all the time because the current iteration of Disneyland is so different. Are we really going to go off on this? Well, whatever. I'll wrap it up in a minute or two, maybe 30 seconds. My point is that, yes, I was going hard. Like, do you see blah, 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 blah. But like,
And at
I
night,
also,
the snow comes out of there.
yes,
And like,
exactly,
It's so...
exactly. But I also know it can be like, bruh. And I can also share, to bring it back to therapy, in my most recent work with medicine, I was explaining what I do, that behavior that we just talked about, like really just like driving it home. Like, you don't understand. This is so great. And this is why I want you to know this and blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't know why I do this. Like, I just need to let people be. And one of my therapists there was like, Ramona, all I hear is that you care. And that's just what you got done saying, Margie. You care. You're there with people you love and you want them to like experience everything that's great about where you are or what you're talking about. And it comes from a place. The intention behind it is pure gold. I get it.
When I'm on the other side of it, I appreciate it for what it is. Even if it feels frenetic and insane, I'm like, I really get that this person loves this and loves me. And the two things combining are like, it's a whole force of nature that erupts. And anyways, I appreciate Angie's enthusiasm. And again, I don't think it's misplaced. I can't say enough how every time they're like, here, let's go open a curtain and look outside. And I was like, it was just like everything in that place was breathtaking, gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So we get on the van to the beach and we see this moment where Meredith like leans in and quietly asks Heather for 2 minutes of her time to talk about what happened last week. And Heather had previously told us that while Brittany has forgiven Meredith, Heather has not yet, because she's very hurt and disappointed that Meredith issued a friendship ultimatum by saying it's Brittany or me, and then called Heather a liar when she relayed what is clearly the truth of what happened on that plane, in my opinion. So she asked Heather for 2 minutes of her time to talk through what happened last week. And in a confessional, Meredith tells us that she tried contacting Heather last week to find time to resolve this because, in Meredith's words, there was definitely a misunderstanding about me calling her a liar. And thank you, editors, for editing in a flashback of Meredith pointing to Heather and saying, "You lied." So, she did that. And she was sober. That was the day she handed out drug tests. So,
punching the word misunderstanding. Punching that word over. I couldn't believe it. She is, Meredith is real sick.
She activates
real sick.
All of my Al-Anonism. So take from that what you will.
I mean, she has the audacity to say Heather not wanting to talk to me about it for now is frustrating. Are you kidding me, Meredith? You're going to call Heather not wanting to talk to you because you are not able to be honest about what happened, even a fraction of it, is frustrating? She's just trying to recalibrate and figure out how to like get through this, because you're in a dishonest level and Heather's trying to play in reality.
But Meredith's doing that thing where she's trying to like lawyer us into believing her story, because she even basically says she feels entitled to the courtesy of a conversation. It's like, courtesy? Right? You shook the chair and pulled hair and spilled wine. What the fuck, for 6 hours? And you're talking about courtesy and a conversation? You don't have conversations. Someone says, here's what I think, and you say, you're wrong. So why would I want to sit down with you? You're not courteous or capable of conversation. Meredith is nuts.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. They sit down for lunch, and there's more hard selling of food that, in my opinion, does not need hard selling.
Did we skip the part where they arrive at the beach?
Oh, you mean the Joy Tribbiani goes to London, bucket hat, but make it Greek?
Yes,
that Angie puts on? Yes.
But then it leads into Mary breaking down face shapes for us, which killed me.
Didn't care for that.
Angie puts on a bucket hat, a Greek bucket hat, and Mary's like, throws the whole outfit off, but leave it on if you need sun protection. And Angie, like, her spirit is crushed, so she's like, no. And then Mary starts breaking down everyone's face shape and says Bronwyn and Heather have bucket face shapes, indicating they're brainiacs. And then in a confessional, she tells us there's also oblong, pie, square. Square faces are dingbats. And I was like, oh my God, Mary, she has a whole separate world of logic that
it doesn't make no sense
to anyone else but her. It reminds me of, there's billboards all around town now for that new Avatar movie. And every time I see those Avatar characters, I'm like, he made up a whole language called Na'vi that they talk to each other in, and that's nuts. But then I see someone like Mary who's like, oh no, this is obviously what a pie face is and a square face is and a bucket face is. And then I'm like, well, everybody makes up their own language and it has meaning to them. So,
dude,
whatever.
So they sit down for lunch and Angie asks everyone what they think of the Greek men. You know, Angie, she'll have me and then she'll just fucking, like, she shows up to work. But again, it's so obvious and calculated and contrived that it's a turnoff. It's just like, oh, Angie, it takes me out. Like, you're so rad. I really appreciate your campiness. And then when you ask Bronwyn if she's going to take home man number 2 because of her open marriage, which to our knowledge has not been established at all yet. All that has been established is that she is open to having a conversation, inviting a conversation with her husband about it. So Bronwyn says we're not in an open marriage yet because Todd is happy and that's fine. I'm super happy. I super adore Todd and there's no drama in my house. And then in Heather's confessional, she says, listen, last week it was Todd looking at lingerie pics on a plane and sleeping at a hotel. Now this week they're monogamous and everything is fine.
That's also not what she said,
Well,
Heather. You
exactly,
fucking asshole.
exactly. So incorrectly, in my opinion, Heather says Bronwyn's clutching her pearls now at the mention of her hooking up with a Greek man. I don't think that's what's happening. These
Not
people
at
are
all.
not understanding at all what Bronwyn was saying. And I think it's willful. I think they just heard she might consider opening up her marriage. And then they lost it all. Then they just did not care to listen or learn about how that may work.
Well, and Bronwyn doesn't know how or if that will work. In Al-Anon, they have the 3 A's, which are awareness, acceptance, and then action. So Bronwyn has awareness that Todd is probably farting and kissing outside their own marital bed. And she has acceptance that that's the reality. But I don't think she knows what action to take yet. So she's like talking through some options here, but Heather's trying to make it black and white. Like either you're monogamous and happy or your marriage is trash and it's open. And it's like, no, there's so much nuance. There's so much grayscale. And I just think it's rude and mean girly and shitty. Again, this is where
So mean girl.
Heather this
So
season, I'm
contrived.
just like, yeah, I just think because Bronwyn, we saw it. She said she had only asked Todd to leave the house before he was leaving on a scheduled business trip. She didn't say we're getting separated. I asked him never to come back. She just said
needed time. She needed a day or two.
Exactly.
That's it. She wasn't asking him to leave. She never used the word separation or
But
alluded
she's-
to divorce.
And she
That's
hasn't denied that there is like outside temptations at play in their marriage, and they're trying to figure out if and how their marriage can survive that. But sorry, Heather, that like they didn't come up with a solution in time for the Greece trip for you. It's just so shitty. Again, and it's why like I really resent Heather for not, you don't get to do that until you're in a complex relationship again. Like flirting with boys and fucking around is one thing, but like being in a full intimate relationship with someone is another. And Heather better bring one of those to our screen so she can get full payback for this shit and be reminded that it's not black and white and not every answer is yes or no or together or not. Like I was so grossed out, like you said, by Angie and Heather in this.
It was gross.
Real bad.
It was gross. Right. So Bronwyn isn't wearing her wedding ring apparently, and Heather and Whitney make it mean something, and Bronwyn just says, I switch my jewelry out regularly. No big deal. I have ADHD. I don't know if that's what adds to like my certain sensory things. It could be completely unrelated to ADHD. It might just be unique to me, Ramona. I don't fucking know. My point is that I don't like water under my ring. I don't wear my rings when I do dishes. If I wear my dishwashing gloves, I will keep my ring on. I don't wear it when I wash my hair. Sometimes when I go swimming, I don't. I also get nervous, like what's going to happen to my ring if I go in the ocean. Sometimes sleeping with it on makes me feel claustrophobic.
Also, she's mad at him. I would take it off too. Well, I don't want to be reminded of this shit when I'm on vacation in Santorini.
Yeah,
I need a fucking break. I ask for space. The ring goes because all I see in that ring is iPad pictures of a lingerie-clad stranger. So like, leave it. That's like, it's the fact that like Heather, Mary, and Angie like can't see another way to frame this moment in time is like so. It's again childish. It's so immature.
And it's really like in Whitney's confessional, it just kind of doesn't make sense because Whitney has kind of been like, one of to use the word pioneer in reference to a recovering Mormon. Yeah, thank you, friend. I will take that acknowledgement. I appreciate that. Whitney is sex positive, sex forward, open minded, yada yada. At least that's what she has presented to us, and I have bought it. Maybe she is a better actress than I think, but she's saying that last week Bronwyn put all of this out there about their relationship, and now she's changing her tune, and she's not changing her tune. She said she'd be open to changing the parameters of her relationship if that's what Todd wanted to explore.
And if they had a conversation about it. It was more about the communication in their relationship than who he's getting naked with or who she's getting naked with.
Exactly. And if that's what Todd wanted to explore. And apparently for now, he does not. So maybe for them it has been
Or he
resolved.
does, and they're working it out. Like
Right.
and like Bronwyn said, she said pretty irritated and kind of disgusted as I was too, or maybe I just projected that onto her. She said, it's so weird that I came to you guys really honestly, and this is the outcome, basically. She said, I
Exactly.
don't have to explain anything that happens in my house.
It's
And I was
true.
like, you don't, and you shouldn't, even though I want to hear about it. But like if this is what these women are going to do with like a complex long-term marriage issue, bye. I'm not telling you anything ever again either,
To me, it just
ladies.
shows nothing but like ignorance and the salaciousness of it all instead of questioning constructs that may or may not work in that relationship or other relationships.
Like this became a reduction to what we see on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, a bunch of
Exactly.
horny 20-year-olds swinging because they want to do it with someone other than the one person they married and have ever experienced sex with. So Bronwyn and Todd are obviously of a much more like advanced age and mature relationship. So I was curious to see the storyline play out. Whitney expressed interest in the same, and now it's going to die because these assholes were like, oh, she's clutching her pearls and saying no, never. It's like, okay,
Unbelievable.
screw you guys. You just killed like an actually interesting storyline. Great.
So while they continue to like have their respective confessionals, like, I don't understand why she's getting mad when she said all of this stuff and it doesn't make sense to me, that's on them. But while they are then discussing it at the table or like questioning Bronwyn, Lisa's face is just like at a tennis match with this like evil, smirky, smug laughter face. Like, at least have the decency to keep it to yourself. If you're like clapping on the inside, like, yeah, look at this shit go down, like, I get it. Whenever my husband comes back, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. Like, if my husband goes to San Diego on a trip, like, he comes home and I'm like, you tell me fucking gossip. You tell me anything. I don't give a shit if it is a tea bag that's been like dry from like 2013 in the bottom of the tea drawer and it's like gross and shredded. Like, I want anything. I want anything. So I understand like the love of gossip and how fun it can be, but like don't bring it in public.
Well, and she just like
I
revels
might
in
cut that out.
she, she just revels in other people's pain.
She
And then when it comes
does.
time for her to face the music, she cries and and like whimpers and calls her husband, and like she's just a nightmare. And
Oh my
speaking of
God.
nightmares, Meredith somehow chimes in here with her victim narrative to lend to the
Oh my
occasion.
God.
And she just says to Bronwyn, like, I don't know anything about your situation, but from my experience, this is not the end of it with this group. And I was like, Meredith,
Wow.
why does this have to be about you? You're so annoying. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
So ridiculous. So they go back. They're going to start getting ready for their evening plans. Mary is putting makeup on in her room, and then I heard an unidentifiable noise, and she got startled by it. And then she says, "Oh, they're tearing up the room." And I don't know if she farted, and that was the noise I heard, and the fart tore up the room, or if someone was moving equipment around the room and it made a boom and it startled her. I
I
thought maybe
mean,
you might know.
I Mary has planted the fart seed in all of us this season. It has come up episode after episode. But I assumed it was, like when someone moves a piece of wood furniture on a floor, it can sound like a fart. So I
Okay.
don't know either. And I let that wash over me and I didn't rewind, and I regret that choice now. That I thought I was doing the mature thing. I was like, Margie, do not keep
Well,
going. But
I'm
it
here to
makes me
validate you that you
and I
weren't the only
appreciate
one that maybe that crossed your mind. Yeah.
Of course it did. Again, she had a full 2-minute fart monologue a few episodes ago. So, like, she has groomed us to bring that into our consciousness. Anytime there's an unidentified noise, we'll assume it comes from her butt until
Oh,
until
God
proven
bless. God
otherwise.
bless.
Okay.
Ay, ay, ay.
Heather comes to Mary's room basically to bitch about Meredith and gossip. And Heather basically says, it blows my mind that Meredith can make all these cutting comments and call me a liar. And I loved Mary for just interrupting her. She says, say it, say that to her face. I think you need to be more direct. Tell her how you're feeling because she does listen to you. And I was like, standing ovation. I was like, that's it. Thank you, Mary. It's probably too direct and too simple a solution for a reality TV show. I understand Heather's trying to like make a TV scene here, but Mary's right. However, I did see Heather's point of view when she said she has been direct, but Meredith takes that as a personal attack and then she leaves it there and they never talk about it again. So there is no moving forward. There is no working it out. And my therapist would say, there's your answer. That's it. It's that age-old question. If they never change, what do you do now? And Heather's not willing to ask that question of herself yet. And Mary, in her confessional, seems to find it impossible to believe that people can't say how they feel. She says, I was raised to tell people how I feel and be honest, but I don't think that these women are capable of being able to just say how they truly, honestly feel just because they worry about things that don't matter. And then she says, like other people's feelings, she's kidding. But I think I interpreted that to mean she worries about how those people will receive it instead of just staying on your side of the street. I need to say this and I can't expect any outcome. I have to be prepared for any outcome.
I interpreted it to mean that they will not share their feelings to the detriment of their own mental health. They're going to protect other people from hearing negative things about themselves or things that could hurt them, but to your own detriment. That's how I interpret it, at least. But either one is, yeah. I mean, she's right on all. None of them are good.
No.
You know?
And then we get to the crux of the episode. Everyone gathers to go catch the sunset before dinner. And by the way, everyone looked gorgeous in their resort wear. I loved Mary's outfit. Everyone looked great. And then Lisa's still in glam and she waves at everyone who's gathered ready to leave at the time Angie had told them and reminded them of an hour ago. And Angie's pissed, and she says it's a reflection of what Lisa feels is important in life. It's not what's inside, but what people see on the outside. And she's focused on the presentation of herself over her connection with friends and having this shared experience. And that is sad. That's just sad.
It is sad. It is sad. And the fact that she is like looking at them like, hi, I'm still in glam. I know I'm late. A, it's fucking rude as shit. B, it's like, I don't believe it. It's a coping skill. She's trying to make it seem like she's super cool, easy breezy about it. Like, here I am being terminally unique. And like, I'm getting my makeup done. Bye, suckers. I'm beating to the, my own drum or whatever.
Yeah.
I just rub my temples.
I mean, there's nothing else to do.
Just give me a headache.
It seems hopeless. Because they all walk along the road / coastline and it looks beautiful. Like Whitney does slip and fall in a way. I've talked about how I like to watch TikTok videos of people slipping and falling, it is a true guilty pleasure because I would never want to see someone feel embarrassed or get injured in real life. But like the way Whitney fell was hilarious and mostly because she was okay on the other side. But like one leg slipped right out from underneath her. It looked like a cartoon. That I did rewind and watch.
That kind of falling, like you can't stop from that kind of falling. And it's those shoes that like are just not going to adhere to the ground.
And
it
they were
going to
new.
hurt.
Yes.
Yeah,
her
totally.
hip surely has a bruise on it.
Ow, I thought about that too. Yeah.
But a handsome man helped her up. He was
Yeah.
very sweet.
Goals, y'all, priorities.
Right.
So they're shopping around and Heather pissed me off when she's like, I'm not ready to wear shapeless animal prints yet. And all I can say is do not knock a shapeless animal print until you fucking tried it. Because let me tell you, I've got a snakeskin animal print caftan upstairs with gold thread woven through it. It's vintage, it's silk, it's fucking amazing. And let me tell you, it's sexy as hell. It might be shapeless, but you don't know what you're talking about. You're not looking at the right shapeless animal prints if you don't know what they can do for you.
It's also fucking revisionist history. And again, this is what bothers me about some people's experience on these weight loss drugs, where it's like, you did wear this because you had to. So what I would appreciate you saying is like, I'm not going to wear this because I don't have to anymore. I'm finally in a body where I feel free and gorgeous and sexy. And I want things that hug my curves. Like, I can't believe the great fortune that in my lifetime, this drug has given me a whole new way to experience life. But instead she's like, this is for fat old ladies. And I'm like, you're a dick. Like you're not better. You're not sexier just because you're not going to wear it. There's something about Heather's whole attitude that is so juvenile and it makes me feel insane. Her experience could be so relatable, but she's separating herself from it. And I'm like, we fell in love with you because we recognized ourselves in you. So like this feels really like a middle finger to your fandom. That's a bit dramatic. I hear myself. I got to look into
Shapeless
it.
things, tight things, bodycon things, everything is for every body. And if
Yes.
she did not feel like she could, for whatever reason, wear anything but shapeless clothes when she was in a bigger body, that is something that I also think she can take to therapy, because I don't agree with that. I think that all bodies should wear whatever the fuck they want.
But I also appreciate that she didn't want to wear things like that. I relate to that part of her experience in that body. And I'm so happy for her that she's feeling great and expressing herself with clothes that she didn't feel comfortable in before. But like something about that comment, and again, this is, I'm sure it speaks to like my eating disorder stuff somewhere, where it just feels like shaming of a body of any kind makes me feel insane, because it makes
Yeah.
me feel like there's a right and a wrong. And you're right in this body with this style, and anyone else who looks at that is wrong and matronly and sad. And like that sucks.
Yeah. Agreed. They all wonder where Lisa is. They hypothesize that she's probably still in glam. And Whitney said, this is where she says, I did my makeup in 4 minutes using Heather's makeup.
And I thought it was extra egregious that it's been hours and she hasn't even texted Angie with an ETA or an apology or
She does not care.
anything. I
She is
know.
only interested in herself and her own experience. And
Barf.
it's wild. So Heather says what I'm thinking too, like I would hate to be crippled with that type of insecurity about my physical appearance so much that I would arrive alone. But clearly confidence and insecurity are not a problem for Lisa Barlow.
But again, it's like coming off of what Heather just said, I'm like, you
Yeah,
spot it.
I get it.
You got it.
I thought
Like,
the same thing.
you could relate to her on this if you tried, but instead it's like, that's her problem, not mine. I don't touch that. It's a little more egregious on Lisa's side of the street in this episode, for sure.
So the rest of the group, they make a turn, and Angie's like, okay, you guys get ready, because you're gonna look up and you're gonna see this. And then they see a beautiful cliffside in Santorini, much what you visualize when you hear about Santorini. The closest thing I can relate to is the very first time I saw the Trevi Fountain in Rome at night. I wasn't prepared, and even if I thought I was prepared, I still wouldn't have been prepared. I get shivers, like even just thinking about it. You're just overwhelmed by this beauty and this architecture and this sculpture. And you're like, I can't believe I'm standing and looking at this, and it's so
And
close
the
to me.
history of it.
And the
It's so
history,
old.
right.
It's like, oh my God.
Lisa missed that because she really liked a lash.
And I loved Angie. Like Heather, most all of them are reduced to tears. Like it's breathtaking and it's so beautiful. They're moved in such a way that Heather especially is weeping. And Angie says, Heather's the friend you want to take on a trip because she values the moment. She feels it so deeply. She is so grateful and just takes it in. And she says, that's what I wanted for everyone. That's what I wanted for Lisa. That's sort of the come down of the frenetic Disneyland energy. It's just like, what I really want is for you to know how much I love you and for you to know how much I love this place and experience that with me. That's the ultimate Venn diagram crossover. But Lisa's strolling down some road taking video of herself, which is also just whatever.
So whatever. So she finds the group in a shop and says, I've been all over Santorini and I got in my 10,000 steps. I call such huge heaping piles of steaming bullshit on that. I can't even tell you.
And gross. But real quick, right before Lisa catches up with them, we have a little moment in a shop with Meredith and Mary.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry.
Where Mary asks Meredith how she's doing with the little rough spot she and Heather have found themselves in right now. And Meredith is immediately defensive. And she says, I called her and she didn't call me back. And she hasn't responded to an invitation I extended today to talk. And if she doesn't want to address it, we can just move on and that's fine. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not even possible to move on, let alone fine. And I appreciated Mary for just listening to Meredith's bullshit, waiting for her to be done. And then basically she said, she just insists that they both need to open up, be vulnerable, and talk to each other because there's something there. meaning there's a friendship worth salvaging as opposed to both of you prideful fucks turning your back on each other and abandoning this. I wonder what she would say off camera. I wonder if they'll ever have that conversation, because clearly that's what Meredith is going for, trying to get Heather alone to say, like, I will never admit to this on camera, but I will admit to you that I behaved poorly and I said things about you that are not true. But if cameras go up and you say I said this, I'll bury you.
Dude. So they head to dinner, and Angie tells Heather it's odd that Lisa is 2 to 3 hours late and shows up in sunglasses. It's nighttime. And I think it's odd too.
Especially after being late for glam and eyelashes. Yeah. And then you're buried by, what a weirdo.
Oh, so they walk up a really tall flight of stairs to their dinner table overlooking a gorgeous Santorini beach cliff. And Meredith stealthily puts a box at Heather's place setting. There's an evil eye in it. And she says it's a peace offering, and Heather says it's not going to work.
Meredith didn't say it was a peace offering. This is how like crazy obtuse Meredith is being. And Heather read it right. She's like, I feel like I'm being treated like the wife of a misbehaving husband who's getting gifts without the perpetrator admitting to any specific wrongdoing. Meredith put the box down, and Bronwyn said to Heather, it's a peace offering. And Heather said to Bronwyn, well, it's not going to work. So both of them are avoiding any direct conversation. And it is like a husband who fucked around and then brings flowers. I get it, but also like, nah.
And also like thinking that would be it. I think that she was just stirring the pot. She's either so, no, I don't even know. I don't even know if I can try to figure out what is going on in Meredith's brain. Like, I honestly don't know what that's like.
I think she was trying to make like a quiet peace offering to be like, we'll work this out. In the meantime, here's a piece of jewelry.
Then why give it
honey.
to her in front of everybody?
I agree completely.
Because they're on Housewives, Ramona. That's because I'm watching an episode of Housewives.
In 5 seconds, she's like, I don't want to do this in front of everybody. I don't want to do this on camera. And I'm like, you just handed her a gift that you bought on camera. Like, come on, man.
Jesus Christ. Angie tells the table she has a great day planned for tomorrow and asks Lisa if she can be on time. And Lisa smugly and without contrition says, yes, I'll be on time. And then Mary singles out Heather and Meredith in front of everyone and asks if they're both okay and says that probably the two of them should probably talk. Yikes. Heather says when she opened her box, Bronwyn told her it was a peace offering. And Meredith offers more context and says, you've seemed tense with me lately, and I'm offering her a gift. I'm offering you a gift as a peace offering. And then her voice gets critical, and she starts a gold medal, like, winning bout of manipulation by telling Heather, if you don't think it's nice, and then don't keep it. It's up to you. I mean, I was trying to be nice. Holy fucking shit. Like, so I don't understand. It's the most manipulative, egregiously manipulative thing I've seen in a long time. It's just so gnarly.
I appreciated Heather for directly going at it and correcting her. It's like she says, it's not that I don't like the gift. It's just basically not sufficient to make up for the injury caused to our friendship when you declared I was a liar. That's when Meredith, after this whole presentation of a gift in front of the group, says, I don't want to talk about it as a group. And I'm like, okay, you weirdo. And Meredith accuses Heather of trying to rile people up to start in on Meredith again. Heather doesn't have to try to do that. Everyone is in agreement except you about your behavior on the airplane. So there's no riling up to do. It's just everyone knows the truth and you're the one denying it to try and not be called out as some sort of having a moment with a substance and potentially a bigger issue with substances. They sort of launch into the same fight they've been having for the past 2 weeks. And Heather says that she's just being met with a stone wall of denial from Meredith. And at one point, Heather is screaming, that happened. That happened. And I was like, it's so familiar. Like in my confrontations with the addicts in my life, who, again, I love. They're wonderful people. I go to Al-Anon because I love addicts. But that is a familiar refrain where I'm just like, that happened. That happened. Mm-hmm. And I know you know that. Mm-hmm. Can we just at least start from the most baseline, factual, common ground? And the answer is no when you're dealing with someone who's really in their sickness or a person who needs control or whatever is going on. I'm not trying to diagnose Meredith, but like something's up.
We're so used to seeing people being drunk on these franchises. I don't know how used we are to seeing people who, if the speculations are accurate, that she is on benzodiazepines, she's on pills, and she looks together. Her outfits are always, very put together, very much like taking a page out of Lisa's book or taking a page out of any addict's book. Well, not any, but a lot of them. If the outside looks good, I have X job, I wear X clothes, I drive X car, I live X zip code, ergo, therefore, I am not an addict.
It's a very real thing to be a functional addict.
Yes.
You don't have to be in a gutter with a needle hanging out of your arm.
Or have her eyeliner running down her face.
Yes. You can look like Meredith and also have issues.
And Whitney, and probably people that are also recovering benzo addicts and also people that are in Al-Anon or whatever, have gone to therapy because of addiction patterns in their families or what have you. We're starting to see it right now. Right now, in this moment of the episode is where Whitney is starting to go like, oh, fuck. I know where this is. This is my dad. This is my dad. Meredith is my dad. And this is what's happening.
It basically just gets to Heather stating very clearly that she was upset by Meredith calling her a liar. Meredith says, I did not call you a liar. Reminder, we just saw the footage where she said, you're a liar.
Yeah.
And then Lisa jumps in to take up for Meredith's, arguing that everyone makes mistakes in friendships, true, and that you can't hold people to a standard that you yourself don't keep. That's exhausting for everyone. And she calls Heather Judge Judy, bringing down judgment from a throne that no one appointed her to, which is also kind of true, but a little misplaced, this argument. It feels like we're derailing a bit, which Whitney later points out. But Lisa says, if you want people to be good to you, be good to other people. And Heather answers that by saying part of trust is acknowledging where there's a problem, which is what she's trying to do with Meredith. And Whitney asks Lisa to let Meredith speak for herself, and Lisa does not do that at all. She just continues on saying, you know what, you guys had a miss over, and Heather cuts her off and is like, no, we did not have a miss. And then we sort of get into the weeds a little bit. Lisa explains that Meredith freaked out over that TikTok because it was disparaging her marriage. And Heather says that Meredith is selective about what she has outrage over. And then Meredith does that fucking addict-y thing where she just goes, I don't agree with you.
Oh my God.
Which serves the purpose of making you feel ashamed for caring, for having feelings about it, and absolutely shutting down your experience and your reality. It's just basically like, you don't exist and I pity you, in those words. And this is where I got so itchy and I
itchy
to take a walk.
I don't agree with you. It's like, that doesn't mean it didn't happen. This is not alternative facts, Meredith. And then she says, and if you want to hold a grudge against me over it, like completely evading any responsibility at all and making
putting it back on Heather.
I mean, this, I don't know if this is actual gaslighting, but it's definitely got it's got some gaslighting characteristics.
Got a whiff of
markers.
Gas, that's
it's
for
got
sure.
a whiff. Yes, exactly. Dude, it's because Meredith has decided she wants to move on from this, probably because she is so full of shame and guilt and like self-disgust, maybe, or maybe she really does buy her own bullshit and she is in denial. Both are terrible. Both possibilities are awful.
Yeah, she wants to, you don't watch Bachelor in Paradise, but one of the Bachelor in Paradise contestants this year just kept saying, we deaded it. We deaded it. Meredith wants to dead this, and it's just not happening. Anyways, eventually we get to Lisa weeping, upset that Heather had said Lisa was being bitchy when they were at that lunch at Valter's. And Lisa did say she felt like Heather was doing that as a show in front of the other women. And I don't disagree completely, because Heather sure does like to stir up a crowd for the cameras. And Heather does apologize for hurting her. And then this did kind of break my heart, because it made me see like Lisa's reasoning is flawed, but it makes sense to her. She says, "You don't turn your back on your friends when they're hurting." And she explains that Heather is asking Lisa to turn her back on Meredith by confirming Heather's correct version of events. So in Lisa's mind, listen, I'm not saying it's right, but I did feel like what Lisa was genuinely confused about, what am I supposed to do? You're telling me that a good friend supports a friend. I'm supporting my friend. And you're telling me don't do that. Like she truly can't see how the truth plays a part in this dynamic. She's like, you blindly defend someone. And Heather's trying to explain like only if the truth supports that defense. But Lisa can't seem to factor that in a meaningful way.
If I take a baseball bat to someone's car because I was pissed about something, even if what made me pissed is completely reasonable, obviously taking a bat to someone's car is unreasonable and not okay way to resolve it. And if you were to be like, I'm going to stand by Ramona right now, even though she bashed a car because she's my friend, I'm not going to turn her back to her, that would be insane.
It is, but
supporting me would be one thing, like having compassion for me. But Lisa is.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I see where I truly saw for a minute that she doesn't comprehend what you're explaining right now. I get that completely, but I don't think Lisa thinks in a nuanced enough way to make that make sense to her. It's too many layers of things. Everything is black and white to her. So she is Meredith's friend, and she thinks what Heather is asking her to do is a betrayal.
Oh my God, dude.
I disagree 100% across the board. Her saying that brought a little bit of clarity as to like how she's able to put her energy where she's putting it right now. Because it's just clearly so off base, but I see that in her head, it's making sense.
Okay. I guess I understand a little bit.
Yeah, I don't agree it's not right. It brought a little, whatever. It shed a little light on what the fuck, like because to me, it just seems like there must just be like a monkey with cymbals in between her ears. I'm like, what are you thinking?
100.
But she gave us a little insight as to like, this is what I'm thinking. And I was like, it's misguided, but okay. Then we get to the heart of the issue where Whitney stops everyone and she's like, look at this table. Everyone is fighting about a million things rather than the central issue here, which was that Meredith was an outrageous, abusive, out of control asshole on the plane when she confronted, attacked, whatever, Brittany. Whitney weeps and says, I see it so clearly. And that broke my heart because like that is, a relatable experience. And Meredith does that again, a look that I've seen in people's eyes. I'm familiar with that look. And she looks to Brittany with this really stern, borderline threatening look, saying, Brittany and I have talked this out, right? We've worked this out.
So gnarly.
Brittany cowers a little bit, and only in her confessional does she say, I actually agree with Whitney and Heather. I forgave her for the sake of moving forward, but like this is a group problem now because she's making it a group problem. And Whitney says the line of this season to Meredith, she says, you messed up, but we're all paying the fucking price for it. And I was like, that is addiction in a nutshell.
Right there, right there. Right there. In her confessional, Meredith says, Whitney has been the pot stirrer in this group since day one. She is the cause of every problem. She projects everything she does onto everyone else over and over again. We let it go time and time again because she's always on a healing journey. Well, A, maybe it's time for your own healing journey, Meredith, and B, which she's nowhere close to hitting rock bottom. Like it's just nothing. And I am projecting on Whitney now. I was the squeaky wheel growing up, always calling shit out. I still am a squeaky wheel. I see or hear or feel misjustice or something out of alignment. Like I talk about it. It's just who I am. So maybe she hasn't been the pot stirrer, Meredith. Maybe she just doesn't like bullshit. And maybe she just says something about it. Whereas you don't say shit about shit. Like we still don't know who Meredith is. We barely know what Meredith looks like. You know what I mean? I'm not judging her. I'm just saying that if the physical example is like the personality example, we don't know who this person is. Every once in a while, old pictures of Meredith pop up on Reddit in the Bravo Real Housewives sub. And people are like, holy shit, she looks like a completely different person. You know how you can see traces of a housewife pre-surgery? Like Dorit is clearly Dorit, even though she's a wildly different face than the Dorit that we have now in season 15 of Beverly Hills. So, like, I don't know Meredith at fucking all. I know that she thinks that she's all that with baths, caviar. She has a store that may or may not be open in Park City. She's a DJ. And she's got 2 kids that also have very particular vocal affectations that I find that I have to be in the mood for them or I need to leave the room. So
I will say Brooks was a very sympathetic character on Next Gen NYC.
Okay. All right. I believe you. I trust you. I trust you.
But it's also just like classic addict behavior. So Whitney says, you know, you messed up, but we're all paying the price for it. And Meredith immediately turns it on Whitney now. So a minute ago, it was Heather's problem.
Yeah.
Then it's everyone. It's Brittany. And now suddenly it's Whitney. And then making fun of her being on a healing journey. It's like, that's so fucking rude because her healing journey was born of her dad recovering from drugs and alcohol and then abandoning her again. And she hasn't heard from him in years. It was
and
so
also sexual
shitty.
abuse, dude. Like a lot of stuff.
And to make light of it was a pretty
very addicty.
Yeah, and it just shines light on Meredith's guilt. I'm just like, you couldn't so easily send up someone who's experienced this in their own family if you weren't trying to, you know, whatever, divert attention. So then Meredith, another classic move, leaves in tears and Lisa follows. And then Heather has this little monologue that I was like, yes, this is also a very familiar feeling. Heather senses she'll now be in trouble for saying that she felt hurt and she's going to end up apologizing for even having an opinion. And she says, I feel worse now than when I came to dinner. And Bronwyn tries to comfort her by saying just because it wasn't received doesn't mean you were wrong to say it. But without recovery in Al-Anon, I 100% know where Heather's headspace is. And the discomfort of being there is so great that without guidance from therapy and 12-step rooms, I too would cave and apologize just to like get my fucking breath back. It's so suffocating when...
To cope.
Yes, and an addict is so skilled at just destroying you without saying a fucking word, without even being in your presence. You can feel them resenting you to death. You know, it's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's such an ugly dynamic. I'm shocked. I did not see this coming from this cast at all. Shocking. This show is so good.
It is. It is. It's good. And it's really exhausting. What else did you watch this week, friend?
This week, I watched the first episode of Vanderpump Rules, and I was delighted by it. Everyone is young and poor. It's back to its roots. It's just like poor servers with a dream. And that is like my favorite iteration of that show. I watched the first episode of Beverly Hills, and I was delighted. The divorce drama is really intriguing to me. Yeah, I like Rachel Zoe as a cast member, not as a person, but I think she's a really interesting addition to this cast. And then I'm not even going to talk about it because it was so depressing, but I watched that Diddy documentary, which is really well done and shocking. The footage that they have is really interesting, but there is nothing. It's just a bad guy got away with horrific behavior for decades and will serve a very light prison sentence for it. And that's it. And that's the end of the story. And it bummed me the fuck out. So do not recommend. I will be watching Vanderpump Rules tonight to cleanse my goddamn palate. How about you? What did you watch this week?
I also watched The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I did like it as a premiere. Dorit is so fucking annoying to me as usual. And so is Kyle. And obviously Erica is annoying to me. I am excited for Rachel Zoe. I'm excited for, didn't care for Sutton and her Avi and Garcelle. Not erasure, obviously, but just complete lack of, just like, you know, she's just taking a page from Meredith's book. Oh, Oh, yeah,
I'm
because they're
telling you,
both
dude.
they're both addicts. You're right. She's the Sutton of Salt Lake City, isn't she?
Yeah, because all of this is Sutton is following the exact trajectory of every alcoholic, and I will stand by the scene, the scene that was the downbeat to name 'em that everyone thinks is so comical was Avi trying to stop her from having another alcoholic drink. And I think Avi hit his fucking limit with her alcoholic abuse of the substance and abuse of him. And I think he left. And she's trying to pull this like, there's no animosity. And like, obviously, he signed an
Yeah, right.
ironclad NDA to get the fuck out of there. Sutton made me sad. She's so isolated. Garcelle has left her. Avi has left her. The only person in her life is her abusive mother. Like, that's what she's left with. So I hope she finds her way to something better. But
I have
I don't
very
have a
little
lot of hope
faith.
for that woman. Yes.
I also watched Vanderpump Rules, and I was pleasantly surprised. And
Oh,
I was
good.
like, oh, you know what? It's because like, even though they know how the sausage is made, they haven't been in the butcher making the sausage yet. They don't have 11 years of taping under their belt like the old cast did. So even though social media is a wildly different beast from 2012 or 2013 when Vanderpump Rules V1 debuted, and they know, like, they don't know yet. So I was surprised at how little acting it felt like. Like, it feels like, oh, the one thing I didn't like about Beverly Hills, it is trying so hard to be Selling Sunset with the montages and the feet getting out of cars and the music. Like, stop it. You guys, just who cares? There's room for everybody. There's room for everyone.
It was filler, man. That first episode did not have a lot going on. So
Okay.
there was like a 4-minute montage of people walking around. I was like, I don't need
Yeah.
to see Erica washing a car. I don't need to see Dorit walking across a street. This is
Yeah.
filler and it's not great.
It was so like, it just stop.
Yeah.
Listen, Selling Sunset wouldn't even be walking if Beverly Hills hadn't run. Okay. So just have faith. You don't need to do this schmaltzy shit that doesn't belong on this show. Anyway, so I didn't mean to jump around, but I was real pissed. So yeah, Vanderpump was a surprise. Maybe I'll watch it tonight too. Unclear. And then Gossip Girl, more Gossip Girl. I'm on season 2.
Love that. Oh my God.
It's such a time capsule, dude. It makes me miss a lot of my tank tops from 2007 and 2008. I'm a little
They're
pissed.
surely on their way back in. So
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The shoes we can leave behind, but I would not mind a big old chunky fucking handbag again. I'm not going to lie, with a lot of
they're coming
pockets,
back. Yeah.
a lot of room for a lot of shit. And they also hurt my shoulder. Anyway. And what was your antidepressant, friend?
My antidepressant was last night. I went to go see a show that a friend of mine wrote, and it was my antidepressant like a year and a half ago when he first did a staged reading of it. It's called The Tuckcracker, and it's a drag version of the Nutcracker, and it's hilarious and thoughtful, and the music is fucking outrageously great. The concept is really clear and amazing. And so he did this like afternoon staged reading like a year and a half ago. He's been working on it consistently ever since. Last night, he did another staged reading of it at the Groundlings, and in the house was RuPaul. And that is just a testament to the creative path. It is long and it's arduous, but like the drag queen was in the house last night to see this show, and not just to be entertained, but for consideration of how to help move this thing forward. And I was so fucking proud of my friend and so reinvigorated by like the magic that this city has to offer. Like LA gets a lot of shit, but watching the optimism and idealism in those cast members of Vanderpump Rules talking about what they want from their experiences out here, and then seeing my friend who's 20 years older than all of them, and sometimes that's how long it takes, but I was just so proud and I loved the show. But more than that, I was just so moved by like what determination and persistence, and my God, the daily choice to not give up on something you believe in, even when you're screaming into a void. It's not for nothing. Someone somewhere is listening, or it's leading you somewhere. Like, I don't know. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
For sure it makes sense. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyways, The tut
I'm
cracker.
happy for your friend. I want my hair stood up a little bit for that. LA can be real, like, it's where dreams come true. It's where
And it
dreams come
also
true.
reminds you that someone of the status of RuPaul will come and sit in a 99-seat theater. It's not all villains at the helm. There are some people who love the art and support a startup, you know? And I just was so delighted to see that. So, anyways, what was your antidepressant this week?
Well, I got to take a girls' weekend and go to Palm Springs with 3 of my dear friends from, well, I mean, yeah, we met in high school and right after high school, but it doesn't matter. Like, they're just, sisters from another mother. And I was really grateful to get to redo this trip because the last time we were all in Palm Springs together is when I had my gallstone attack. And so it kind of like put the trip on a real shitty ending. And it was nice. The weather was great. It's always just, even though it's my friend's house, it feels like my house too, in a way, because I've been going for so many years now and it's just a constant. I like that. And now I'm ready to get back into the holiday swing of things and enjoy the rest of December and the New Year and Christmas trees and decorations and lights. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Margie, I feel much better now than before when we sat down. I was a little cranky, but this has been great. Everybody, take care of yourself. Margie and I are going to talk about what to do about Beverly Hills because, as we know, this show is going to be ending and then we're going to need to talk about something anyway. So we'll see. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll keep watching.
Anyway.
We'll figure it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Everybody take great care of yourselves, and we will talk next week.
We'll talk next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Ramona and Margie are obviously not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.